For 70 years, Turkey was America's most important ally in the Middle East. The cornerstone, the anchor, the indispensable partner. But something changed. And the shift happening right now, quiet, deliberate, and largely invisible to the public, may be the most consequential strategic realignment America has made in Europe since the end of the Cold War. Washington is not abandoning Turkey loudly. There are no angry speeches, no dramatic announcements, no formal break. Instead, America is doing something far more calculated. It is building a new southern anchor for NATO, brick by brick, base by base, deal by deal, and that anchor is Greece. To understand how dramatic this shift is, you need to understand how the old order worked. Turkey joined NATO in 1952. From that moment, it became the alliance's most strategically valuable southern member. And the reasons were obvious. Turkey sits at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. It controls the Bosphorus and the Dardanelles, the narrow straits that are the only maritime passage between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. Without Turkish permission, no warship moves between those two bodies of water. During the Cold War, Turkey was the wall that stopped Soviet expansion southward. American nuclear weapons were stationed on Turkish soil. American bases provided platforms for intelligence gathering deep into Soviet territory. The relationship was foundational. And Greece? Greece was important too, but secondary. A smaller country, fewer people, less strategic geography. When America had to choose between Athens and Ankara in moments of tension, Washington almost always chose Ankara. That calculation defined the relationship for half a century. But the world that made Turkey indispensable has changed, and America's strategic needs have changed with it. The unraveling didn't happen overnight. It was a slow accumulation of decisions, each one manageable in isolation, but devastating in combination. It started with the Iraq War in 2003. When America prepared to invade Iraq, it asked Turkey for permission to use Turkish territory to open a northern front. The Turkish parliament said no. American military planners were stunned. Tens of thousands of troops had to be repositioned at the last minute. The northern front never materialized. And in Washington, a quiet but lasting resentment took root. Then came Erdogan. As Turkey's president consolidated power through the 2010s, and the nature of the Turkish state changed. Democratic institutions weakened. The press was constrained. The military, historically the guardian of Turkey's secular, Western-oriented identity, was purged after the 2016 coup attempt. The officers who had built and maintained Turkey's NATO relationships for decades were gone, replaced by people loyal to Erdogan personally. And Erdogan's foreign policy was not Western, not reliably, not consistently. He maintained warm relations with Russia even as NATO rallied against Moscow. He purchased the Russian S-400 missile defense system, a direct and deliberate breach of NATO's equipment standards, designed to force Washington into a confrontation it couldn't ignore. America kicked Turkey out of the F-35 program in response, a program Turkey had invested in. Under a program Turkey's Air Force had planned its future around. The relationship didn't break, but it cracked deeply. And then in the Eastern Mediterranean, Turkey began making moves that put it in direct conflict, not just with Greece, but with multiple American partners simultaneously. This is where things get serious. Here is the core tension that America is now navigating. Turkey is still a NATO member, still important, still controls the Bosphorus, still has the second largest military in the alliance. America cannot simply walk away from that. But Turkey, under Erdogan, has also become unpredictable, transactional, willing to use its NATO membership as leverage, threatening to block alliance decisions, delay approvals, or tilt toward Moscow whenever it wants something from Washington or Brussels. This is no longer a reliable ally. It is a complicated partner with its own agenda. Greece, by contrast, has been doing something quietly remarkable. Athens has been making itself indispensable. Every time Turkey has made a move that complicated American strategy, Greece has offered an alternative. Every time Turkey's reliability was questioned, Greece showed up fully committed. Every time Ankara played both sides, Athens chose one, and it chose Washington. This is not accidental. It is a deliberate Greek strategy, and America has noticed. But this could change everything, because choosing Greece over Turkey is not a simple upgrade. It is a fundamental restructuring of how America projects power across the Mediterranean, the Black Sea, and the Middle East. Escalation, Layer 1, the bases. The most concrete evidence of America's strategic shift is not in diplomatic statements. It is in concrete, literally, in the military bases being built and expanded across Greece. Alexandroupolis is the name that matters most right now. This port city in northeastern Greece, close to the Turkish border and with direct access toward the Black Sea, has become a central hub for American and NATO military logistics. Through Alexandroupolis, American heavy equipment, tanks, armored vehicles, artillery is being moved into Eastern Europe without passing through Turkish territory. That is not incidental. That is the point. The United States has built a logistics route that bypasses Turkey entirely. Think about what that means strategically. One of Turkey's most powerful levers over NATO, its control of the Bosphorus and its geographic chokehold on access to the Black Sea, has been partially offset. America can now move forces and equipment into the Black Sea region without depending on Ankara's goodwill. That is a fundamental change in the military geometry of Europe. Suda Bay in Crete is the second piece of the puzzle, one of the finest natural harbors in the Mediterranean. American and NATO naval vessels have used it for decades, but the level of activity there has increased significantly. It is now a platform from which America can project naval power across the entire Eastern Mediterranean, toward the Middle East, toward North Africa, toward the Black Sea. Larissa Air Base in central Greece, Stefano Vikeo, multiple smaller installations. The footprint of the American military in Greece is growing, not dramatically, not with big announcements, but steadily and purposefully. What happened next was unexpected, at least to those who weren't watching closely. Greece agreed to remove the cap on the number of American military bases that could operate on Greek soil. Previously, agreements limited American military presence to specific designated facilities. That limit is gone. Greece has opened its entire territory to American military infrastructure. No other NATO ally in Europe has made that offer so comprehensively. Escalation, Layer 2. The weapons. Military bases tell part of the story. The weapons deals tell the rest. Greece has been on a sustained, serious military modernization program that has transformed its armed forces. 18 Rafale fighter jets from France, among the most capable combat aircraft in the world, with radar systems and weapons integration that rival anything in the American inventory. Greece ordered them, received them, and is now training its pilots to use them at their full potential. 3 FDI frigates, next-generation French warships equipped with advanced radar, anti-submarine warfare systems, and missile defense capabilities. These are not patrol boats. These are serious blue-water warships designed to fight and win against peer competitors. Upgraded F-16S. America selling Greece the Viper upgrade package, bringing its existing fleet to near 5th-generation capability standards. And here's the detail that matters most. Turkey was supposed to receive F-35S, 5th-generation stealth fighters that would have given Ankara a decisive air superiority advantage over Greece. When Turkey bought the S-400 and was expelled from the program, that advantage evaporated. Greece, with its Rafales and upgraded F-16S, now has an air force that can credibly challenge Turkish air power in the Aegean. The military balance has shifted in a direction that would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. America didn't just sell Greece weapons. America, by removing Turkey from the F-35 program, changed the entire military equation of the Eastern Mediterranean. Whether that was a deliberate gift to Athens or simply the consequence of punishing Ankara, doesn't matter. The result is the same. Escalation, Layer 3, energy. And then there is energy, which is where American strategic interest and Greek geographic advantage converge most powerfully. Europe needs to replace Russian gas. That need is not short-term, it is structural. It will define European energy policy for the next generation. Greece sits at the geographic center of every viable alternative. Gas from Israel, Cyprus, and potentially from Greek waters themselves can flow through Greek infrastructure into the European mainland. LNG terminals on Greek soil can receive American liquefied natural gas shipped across the Atlantic and pump it into the European grid. The United States, under both Trump and Biden in different ways, has been deeply interested in making this happen. American LNG exports to Europe are not just commercial, they are strategic. Every American molecule of gas that heats a European home is a molecule that doesn't come from Russia. It is energy as geopolitical influence. Greece is the infrastructure through which that influence can flow. American energy companies are in discussions about Greek exploration rights, terminal development, and pipeline investment. The numbers being discussed are in the billions. The strategic value is measured in something larger than money. And Turkey, which has been actively working to block Greek energy development, which has deployed warships to contest Greek drilling rights, which signed illegal maritime deals to cut Greece off from its own resources, is on the opposite side of every one of these American interests. That is not a minor complication. That is a strategic alignment problem that Washington can no longer ignore. Now, here is the thing that Ankara understands but won't say publicly. Turkey's leverage over NATO is declining. Not disappearing, but declining. The Bosphorus still matters. Turkey's military still matters. Erdogan's ability to complicate NATO decisions still matters. But America has been systematically reducing its dependence on Turkish cooperation for a decade. Alexandroupolis reduces the Bosphorus leverage. Greek bases reduce the need for Turkish airspace. Alternative energy routes reduce Turkish ability to position itself as a critical transit corridor. And Turkey's own choices have accelerated this process. Every time Erdogan bought Russian weapons, every time he threatened to block NATO decisions, every time he deployed warships against Greek allied interests, he gave Washington another reason to invest in the alternative. Turkey built its own trap, and it walked into it. But here is the twist that cuts the other way. America is not fully committed to Greece either. Not yet. Washington still needs Turkey. The Bosphorus cannot be replaced by any amount of construction at Alexandroupolis. Turkey's military mass cannot be replicated by Greek modernization programs. And Erdogan, frustrating as he is, has shown a willingness to negotiate when his interests are engaged. America is not choosing Greece instead of Turkey. America is choosing Greece as leverage over Turkey. The expansion of American military presence in Greece is partly about what Greece offers, but it is also about what signal it sends to Ankara. Shape up, or we build around you. Zoom out to the full canvas. What America is constructing in Greece is not just a bilateral relationship. It is a southern Mediterranean architecture, a network of bases, partnerships, energy routes, and military agreements that can sustain American power projection across the region, regardless of what any single country does. Greece is the hub of that architecture. France, through its defense agreement with Athens, is a pillar. Israel, Cyprus, Egypt, all aligned in opposition to Turkish maritime claims, are the supporting structure, and the United States is the power that holds it all together. This architecture serves multiple American objectives simultaneously. It contains Russian influence in the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. It secures Europe's energy transition away from Moscow. It provides platforms for operations in the Middle East and North Africa. It signals to China that American commitment to European security is not weakening, and it manages Turkey, keeping Ankara inside NATO while reducing the alliance's vulnerability to Turkish obstruction. This is why the Guilfoyle appointment, the base expansions, the weapons deals, and the energy discussions all happened around the same time. They are not separate events. They are one strategy, methodically executed. Where this goes depends on decisions not yet made. If Turkey continues its current trajectory, buying Russian systems, contesting Allied maritime territory, using NATO membership as a transactional tool, the shift toward Greece will accelerate. More bases, more weapons, more energy investment. The architecture becomes permanent, and Turkey's role in it becomes marginal. If Turkey recalibrates, if a future Turkish government decides that Western alignment is genuinely in Turkey's interest, if Ankara rejoins the F-35 program, ends its maritime provocations, and re-engages with NATO as a genuine partner, then Washington will face a different choice. Does it maintain its Greek architecture as a strategic hedge, or does it step back and risk undoing what it has built? And if Greece's domestic politics shift, if future governments in Athens prove less committed to American strategic goals, more willing to engage with China, or less able to manage the domestic costs of hosting a large American military presence, then the entire bet Washington has placed on Greece becomes unstable. The architecture is being built, but architecture requires maintenance. And the Eastern Mediterranean has a long history of structures built with confidence and eroded by time. Here is what this moment really is. America is not making a sentimental choice. Washington has no sentiment in geopolitics. It has interests. The choice of Greece over Turkey, or more precisely, the choice to build Greece up alongside a recalibrated relationship with Turkey, is driven entirely by interest, by the need for reliable bases, by the necessity of alternative energy routes, by the imperative of countering Russian and Chinese influence in a region that connects 3 continents. Greece is not being rewarded for being a good ally. Greece is being invested in because it offers something America needs. And Turkey is not being punished for being a bad ally. Turkey is being managed, kept in the alliance while its leverage is reduced, because America still needs what only Turkey can provide. This is how great powers operate, not with loyalty, with calculation. The question, the one that will define the Mediterranean for the next generation, is whether the new architecture America is building in Greece is strong enough to hold when the next crisis comes. Because the Eastern Mediterranean does not offer long periods of stability, it offers short periods of managed tension, punctuated by moments when everything could change at once. America is betting that when that moment comes, it will have the right ally in the right place. Whether Greece can carry that weight, and whether Washington will actually stand behind it when the moment arrives, is the question that nobody in Athens, Ankara, nor Washington can yet answer with confidence. The strategy is in place. The test has not yet come. Greek and American flags side by side at a military base. Wind, silence. Then the sound of jet engines in the distance. Subscribe. The geopolitical decisions being made today will define the world your children inherit.